Hey everyone, you're watching the first part of a video series about setting up the ANJ-6200-48PL inverter. This is an introductory video for everyone. We'll go through how to actually get into the inverter menu, how to navigate it, and how to save your changes properly. But before we dive into the menu settings, let me say a few words about the device itself. What you're looking at is a hybrid inverter by ANJ, model ANJ-6200-48PL-WIFI. This unit puts out 6.2 kilowatts, runs on 48 volts, and delivers a pure sine wave. What about connectivity? It's got the full package: Wi-Fi at 2.4 gigahertz, Bluetooth, an RS485 Modbus port for smart batteries, and RS-232. You can monitor the system through a mobile app or through Home Assistant. There's already a ready-made integration for it. Now for the important part. What makes this PL version different from the regular ANJ-6200W-48V inverter, which you've probably also seen on sale? The main feature here is parallel operation support. You can connect up to 12 inverters into one system, including 3-phase configurations, meaning you can scale up from powering a regular apartment all the way to a large house or even a small production facility. On top of that, there's a built-in CT sensor. It tracks the home's consumption in real time and prevents electricity from leaking back into the grid. For on-grid operation, that's an essential thing. The MPPT controller here is a powerful one, rated at 120 amps, which lets you connect solar panels with a total capacity of up to 6,500 watts. The input voltage range is wide, from 60 to 500 volts. Take note of the design. The Wi-Fi adapter is now built directly into the housing. You don't need to connect anything externally. All you can see is a small part of the antenna. So what's inside? There are reliable 600-volt, 60-amp IGBT transistors, massive 12mm thick aluminum heat sinks, and 3 power supply units. It's actually because of that separate power supply that the inverter can operate without a battery at all. For example, if you haven't had a chance to buy one yet, cooling is handled by two 80mm fans at 6 watts each. They run continuously, so there is some noise. If you're putting it in an apartment, that might be a bit of nuisance at night. Generally speaking, these kinds of devices aren't officially intended for living spaces. But in practice, people install them there, and I'm no exception. The main safety rule: never block the side ventilation grills through which air flows in. And finally, just one sentence about batteries, since there will be a separate video on those. The manufacturer recommends LiFePO for lithium iron phosphate batteries. The brand's lineup includes options at 100, 200, and 300 amp hours. Yes, a big battery is still expensive, but building one yourself from individual cells will actually cost you even more right now. That, however, is a topic for another conversation. All right, now let's take a closer look at the front panel of our inverter. This is where all the controls are concentrated. See, we've got just 4 buttons, but it's probably worth it because you can figure them out in a minute. This is, so to speak, your main control panel for the inverter. The first button, ESC. Well, it's simple. This is your way out. If you've gone somewhere you didn't mean to, or you want to cancel changes and go back a step, you press this. It also comes in handy when you need to quickly jump out of deep settings back to the main menu. Then we have 2 navigation buttons: up with an upward arrow and down with a downward arrow. These are, as you'd expect, your scroll buttons. With the up one, we move to the previous item, or if we're already adjusting something, we increase the value. For example, raise the voltage by a few volts. And with the down one, accordingly, we go further down the list or decrease the numbers. For example, when you need to set an amperage limit. And the last, but probably most important button, Enter. This one's the boss. We use it to confirm our selection, enter a submenu, or permanently save whatever we've just set. Without it, nothing will be remembered. And that's really all there is to it. Just 4 buttons, and yet they give you full access to any setting on this beast. Everything is right there, simple, and probably as logical as it gets. All right then, let's move from theory to practice and take a look at how everything is organized on the software side. To actually get into the settings menu, grab the Enter button and hold it for about 3 seconds. Just hold it down, and probably within a moment, you'll see the image on the display change. That's the sign that the inverter has let you into the settings. The first thing you'll see there is the name of a settings group. The display will show F0. This is, so to speak, your starting point. The whole logic here is built around groups, so you're not wandering through one endless list, but can navigate by sections in a comfortable way. When you see this F0 or any other letter with a number, it means you're currently in the general list of groups. In other words, you're not yet inside a specific parameter. You're simply choosing the category you need. Also worth noting, this is very convenient because you immediately understand which block of settings you're in. It's worth it. To calmly scroll through these groups with the up and down buttons first, before going in to change anything in volts or amps. Let's continue our tour of the settings on this inverter, the PL version. Look, the inverter menu is broken down into 5 main groups, from F0 to F4. Each of these groups is probably like a separate shelf where similar settings are kept. Let's quickly run through them so you know where to find what. Menu structure. The first group, F0. This is where we have the basic system parameters, 13 items in total. These are the general under-the-hood settings, so the device understands what its purpose is in your specific setup. Next comes F1. This is more interesting. It contains output parameters and power priorities. 10 items in total. This is where we decide where the house gets its energy from first, from the grid, from solar, or from the battery. It's worth spending more time here because your savings depend on this. The third group, F2. This is the real giant, a full 27 items. This is where all the battery settings live. Since the battery is the most expensive part of the system, there are the most parameters here, from charging current in amps to cutoff voltage in volts. Then we have F3, the real-time clock, just 6 items. It might seem like a small thing, but without the correct time, consumption schedules won't work, so this matters too. And the last one, F4. These are purely service functions and data reset, just 2 items. Sort of like your emergency kit, in case you need to start everything from a clean slate. In total, we have 58 configuration items. But don't be scared ahead of time. In reality, most of them are usually left as is, meaning at default values. To get up and running smoothly and have everything working like clockwork, you'll realistically need to change, well, maybe up to 10 items, no more. Everything else is for fine-tuners and complex systems. Now let's go through the navigation itself, step by step, so you don't make a wrong move anywhere. It's worth it. Figure out the algorithm once, and everything will be clear from there. Step 1. As I already mentioned, hold down the enter button for approximately 3 seconds. This is our entry point to the beginning of navigation, the group menu. The display will immediately show F0. Step 2. Now, with the up and down buttons, we simply scroll through this list and select the group we need. It could be F0, F1, F2, F3, or F4. Each one is responsible for its own block of settings. Step 3. Once you've decided on the group, press Enter again. This takes us inside, and the screen will show the number of the very first specific item in that group. Step 4. Here our up and down arrows come into play again. We use them to simply move between the different items within the selected group. We look for the parameter we want to adjust, whether it's amperage limits or voltage thresholds. Step 5. Found the item you need. Press Enter. Now we've entered edit mode. This is essentially the moment when you can actually change something. Step 6. With the up and down buttons, we set the value we need. For example, add a bit of voltage or reduce the charging current. Step 7. This is important. For the inverter to remember your efforts, be sure to press Enter again. Only after that will the change be saved to the inverter's memory. Step 8. The ESC button is our universal exit. We use it to go back one step or to exit the menu entirely and return to the main screen. And keep one nuance in mind. If you've already changed some numbers but suddenly changed your mind and haven't pressed Enter yet, just press ESC. Everything will be canceled and the old value will stay in place. But if you've already pressed Enter and confirmed the selection, that's it. The change is already in memory. You can't simply undo it. You'll have to manually go back into that item and revert everything. And that's logical here, so nothing gets accidentally knocked out of place. One more thing, and that's the main display screen itself. Probably, this is what you'll be looking at most often because it shows all the most important operating parameters in real time, and where you'll immediately see the full picture. Let's start with the left side of the screen. That's where the input voltage in volts and the grid frequency are displayed, or the voltage from the solar panels, the so-called PV voltage. This is very convenient for understanding where the fuel is coming from right now. On the right side, we see what we have on the output voltage, frequency, and the current load power. So you immediately see how many watts or kilowatts your home is consuming right at this moment. In the center, there's a battery icon. It shows not only the charge level, but also the current operating mode, meaning whether charging is happening right now or, on the contrary, discharging. Also pay attention to the mode icons. They tell you exactly which source is powering your load at this very second, whether it's the grid, solar, or whether the battery is kicked in. There's more. Right on the main screen, you can use the up and down buttons to calmly scroll through different readings. You can check voltage in volts, frequency, power, or even look at generation statistics. More details on this in separate videos in the series. So, let's recap quickly one more time. It's really not complicated. To get into the menu, simply hold down the Enter button for about 3 seconds. From there, everything is intuitive. With the up and down buttons, we simply move through items or change values in amps or volts, however we need it. The enter button for us works as yes, meaning confirm the selection or permanently save the setting. And ESC, that's our way back if you need to cancel something or simply exit the settings. Probably in this video, this is the simplest part of working with this inverter. In the next video, we'll take a detailed look at the first settings group, F0, where all the basic parameters are gathered. So stay tuned, there's more to come.